Hey there, you beautiful people. This week's episode is brought to you by Deep Creek Glassworks. Deep Creek Glassworks is your place to find handmade, one-of-a-kind glass for everybody. Trying to stand out with a handmade gift? Trying to impress your loved ones or someone you would like to become a loved one? Look no further, Deep Creek Glassworks has you covered. They offer ornaments, pendants, wine glasses, functional glass, and more. Hop on their website to pick up your glass pumpkin decoration just in time for Halloween. They offer fast shipping and crush-resistant boxes, so support a local business and check them out at their new website, deepcreekglassworks.com. Works is spelled W-O-R-X. And just for you, make sure you use the promo code SUPERFUN for 10% off of your next order. So go ahead, hop on deepcreekglassworks.com, W-O-R-X, and get all of your glass needs met today.
Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Find us on facebook.com/superfunpodcast, twitter.com/superfunpodcast, patreon.com/superfunpodcast, Instagram at superfunpodcastgo, iTunes at Superfun Game Review Podcast Go. Thanks and enjoy the show.
Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go! I'm your host, Ralph. Across from me, I have Mr. Harry.
I'm sitting amongst two assholes, mouth dry, ready to record another episode. Steve makes a dick joke. Ralph sighs. We proceed to our initial impressions. Please tell me you know where that's from.
That was fucking good, man.
The assassin. The assassin, how he has his flashbacks.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Oh, come on!
The fish guy. The fish guy.
Yeah.
To my left, I have Mr. Steve.
I've never considered cross-species intercourse, and damn, saying it that way doesn't help. Now I feel dirty and clinical.
And tonight, I'll be your host, Ralph. Who's that? Pilot? No. Synthesized voice. Simulated emotional inflections. Could it be? No. Maybe. Have to ask. Is that an AI?
I like the spurt at the end there.
Yeah.
Is that an AI?
Is that an AI?
Is that an AI?
Spurty. So, if you couldn't tell by those lengthy quips, we're doing Mass Effect 2, the middle child of this wonderful, perfect trilogy.
Get out there and make me a sandwich, Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
No one loves you as much as the first.
This is the meat of the shepherd sandwich.
Whoa.
Depending on if you played male or female.
I don't know.
Shepherd pie.
Fem shep pie.
Yeah.
Fem shep.
Oh, man.
Fem shep cream pie.
Okay. Steve, get your fan fiction. Get put it in a different browser. Go in private or incognito or whatever it is. You put that shit away. Let's jump right into initial impressions. Gentlemen, hit me.
Ouch. Aggressive.
I know. He said hit him.
Since the time we completed Mass Effect 1, I wanted to play the shit out of this game.
It's almost like 2 years have passed.
I
Like
know.
you've been in a coma.
It frustrated the shit out of me that we waited this long.
Look how big his eyes are getting.
For real.
Yeah,
Well, that's
for-
okay. You
for
can
real.
you can embody Shepard then. You're rediscovering everything. You know, like he was out of it for 2 years, and now we're back. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah, now you get it.
He brought it full circle, not oval.
I really enjoyed my experience and like getting into this. Like I didn't remember all my choices from the first game, but the big moments did kind of stick out to me. Like the choices between Ashley and Alenko. Caden. I remember that. I remember the confrontation with Rex where you have to either put him down or save him.
Yeah.
I remember that like final mission. Oh no. At the Citadel. When the Reaper comes to attack.
Side with the council or don't kind of thing.
Like I remember the highlights from that game. I remembered just kind of being in awe and seeing where this was going to go. I'm all in.
Yeah.
So jumping into this game, I was super excited to get back into this world and just kind of relive some of these characters, revisit some of these areas that you encountered from the past. So much so that immediately after putting this game, we didn't discuss reviewing Mass Effect 3 but I had to dive right into 3.
You just went for it.
Yeah.
After completing 2, I just went right into 3.
See, he didn't ask the elusive man. He just
No.
went and did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right,
He's-
easy there, Shepard.
He's a renegade shepherd.
He is a
there.
renegade shepherd. He's a renegade shepherd.
So that's my initial impression.
Great. Steve?
Upon the completion of the first, I knew we would be playing the second, and I had much enthusiasm looking forward to it.
This sounds familiar.
Maybe. I was really looking forward to getting started and playing through this one, number 2, and I almost wish I took a little more time with it, only because I thought we would be recording this a lot earlier than we actually are. So I felt a little more like on a deadline of, okay, I don't need to do everybody's like side loyalty missions, which yeah, I didn't on that aspect. And if I knew we were going to have extra time in between, definitely would have done it. But by that point I was like, fuck it, let's roll with it. Plus I figured that the majority would probably do everybody's mission, so let's see how this is going to play out. But
That's a good point.
Yeah. And share our experiences with the suicide mission.
Yeah, it gives a little bit of different perspectives on it. Other than that, I mean, it's still, I don't really know much. I never paid attention to the series other than when we started it with the podcast, and then even with that, everything's still kind of new to me as I'm coming in to playing the game, so it still feels organic. And yeah,
You went in blind and you're discovering it as you go.
Yeah, exactly, and I dig that. So that way I'm not swayed or my opinions skewed by anything that has been said by anybody else, because if you don't pay attention to it, then you're all good to go.
Sometimes that's the best way to do it,
Yeah,
though.
I like it.
Well, you bring up an interesting point, and this is a discussion for another day. But when you know a story, if you know spoilers to that story, does that weaken the experience or doesn't it? And I think there's an argument for both sides of that. But just because you know something that happens doesn't mean that it necessarily takes away from it when you're in the moment.
Yeah,
because
true.
I knew, for my initial impression, I knew the big spoiler for the beginning of this game, and it did not impact the experience negatively at all.
What's the big spoiler?
That Shepard dies in the very beginning.
Oh, okay.
And then everything gets rebuilt, and you go from there. Which it almost doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's almost like the developers were like, okay, Mass Effect, we've decided internally that we're going to turn this into this big trilogy, but let's just make the first game, and then they kill Shepard in the beginning. Like it serves as like a reboot. Like I feel the second game had a bigger marketing push, and they were like, okay, so we're going to make this the beginning of this game, so if you didn't play the first game, you can still pick up the second one and go. I don't know their motives exactly, but to me, that's a big spoiler that Shepard dies in the very beginning. Well, dies in quotations,
Quote, unquote,
because his heart is still used for the husk or whatever, and they recreate him in Cerberus. But yeah, the discussion for another day is, do spoilers actually kill an experience or don't they?
I didn't know that spoiler, by the way.
Oh, no?
I mean, that was... I
mean,
just
is
like,
it even really a spoiler, to be honest? Because it's not like anything
Yeah.
changes.
when you see any demos, you just see you're playing as Shepard, so then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, he died, and then they brought him back. Okay, here we go.
And I never felt like he had some minor enhancements, right? I never felt like that really played into anything, at least for my playthrough.
Yeah, I mean, he took pills for the enhancements, but that's a little different.
So yeah, my initial impression was that I've actually been wanting to play this game for a long time. Someone turned me onto it, and like when it came out in 2010, 2009, 2010ish, and I'd heard that it was good, and I had it on that pedestal this whole time, almost 10 years, and getting to finally, sink my teeth into the game, I kind of think I had a diminished experience because I was not railroading myself to finish it, but it was like, okay, I need to get through this. Like, if I were not playing the game for the podcast, I probably would have explored every planet in the game.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't get the time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, I did all of my loyalty missions and feel that overall the ending is the ending that I wanted. So I'm happy with my experience, but I pushed through a little bit more than I normally would.
Gotcha.
Just for the record, my experience... So I know Steve got the DLC for this game.
Oh.
He encountered certain characters in the party that I did not.
Same here. I didn't do the DLC.
So we'll get that unique perspective from Steve. I did, however, explore everything.
Yeah.
I did every mission, side quest, anything that this game had to offer.
Checked out every single planet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In the base game.
All the resources, all the upgrades.
Yep.
Cool.
Everything. Did
All right.
everything.
I want to hear your experience, guys. Okay, I want to get there.
Yeah.
So let's shuttle our way into game development.
Game development.
All right, Steve, I'm putting you in charge of the development section.
I don't want the whole thing.
You're in charge of the development team.
Oh, I am?
And go.
So like there's the entire development team, or am I like the gameplay designer?
No.
Like Christina
I'm
Norman?
I'm Shepard, and I'm putting you at the head of the development team for this mission, which is the podcast. Go.
Oh, so I'm the head.
All
I'm
right.
the body
so
of this.
something
So it was-
interesting that I found.
Yes, Harry.
So this was kind of produced during the recession of 2008, 2012.
Oh yes, the housing market.
So they had to cut the budget
crash.
on this game because of that.
Mhm.
In addition, there was a flu virus. Was it bird flu?
bird flu or swine flu?
Something like that.
One of the flus.
Made a lot of the members on the team sick. They lost an entire year worth of man hours.
Holy shit.
Wow.
On producing this game. But despite both of those, they deemed it to be on budget and above quality than what
What they were
than
predicting.
their original intentions
Wow.
were coming out of this. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is pretty
that despite
interesting.
all these challenges, they produced the
Here-
quality that they were expecting.
of the product, yeah.
I mean, I haven't played 3, but it might be the best in the franchise.
It's
Through
really
that
good.
kind of adversity, that's really, wow. That's a testament to the quality of the work.
Well, we'll get to final thoughts. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. A big thing when they were like pretty early in the development stages of the game was to actually just focus and put a lot of attention and detail into the shooting and remove like all RPG aspects from
Yeah,
it.
no, I listened to a lot of reviews
Yeah.
on this game, and that was like the biggest takeaway.
Oh, you do that? I try to stay away because I don't want other people's opinion to impact my.
Well,
my own
I don't
voice.
know. Again, it was when I originally beat this game. I
Yeah.
did a lot of research
Okay.
on this game, and I'll be honest. When you look at the trilogy as a whole, the first one seems to be the outlier, and the second and the third feel very, very similar.
Right.
And
Gotcha.
I think it is because of their changes in the system. It made it more streamlined.
Yeah, it really did, and you could feel that. And then once they feel like they got that aspect with the shooting and giving you different options, and there was a lot of stuff they were weighing back and forth that they looked at the first one and were like, all right, what was done wrong or what could be enhanced a little bit more in that? And that's where covering with like the recoverable health, because they didn't want players to feel like they would play differently and have to rely on health packs so much. They went with kind of like the duck and cover method, so that way it's not necessarily pausing during the gameplay to switch out weapons or use different types of ammo or whatever it may
So
be.
keep it for immersion is what it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. And that was something that they really tried to pay more attention to detail on, and then they started adding more of the RPG aspects to the game and kind of molded that around like your combat and your shooting and whatnot. Which I think really stands out. You can see they put a lot of time and effort into like the actual combat portion of the game, which obviously you should, because it's...
Maybe it was my class, but I'm going to respectfully disagree with that and come to it when we get to gameplay.
Well, we all know you have very low to no class, Ralph.
Okay, cool.
So
Whoa.
More?
Yeah, 90 voice actors, 546 characters, over 25,000 lines of dialogue.
BioWare is known for their voice work, specifically with the Old Republic. It was like the first MMO that was fully voiced, which was insane. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's nuts statistics. I believe it goes up to the third game as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm
and I
sure.
mean that was a big point I think we made on the first one as well, just how much dialogue is written and voice acted in the first game, and it just gets upped each game in this franchise. So no, that's crazy. And there's a couple notable voices in this game as well.
I noticed Michael Dorn just offhand. Like he's Worf from Star Trek, and when we got to the Krogan planet, where if you saved Rex, he's like in charge.
yeah.
There's the one guy who's like telling him that he's doing everything wrong, and then you fight him later.
Yeah.
That guy is voiced by Michael Dorn.
Really?
And I thought
That's
it was kind
awesome.
of cool because they're so Klingon-like anyway that it was kind of cool that he was there, and I don't remember the character's name. I was just, 'cause that's the one that's Michael Dorn. Like, I can tell. Like, there's Worf. I can hear him.
Check that out.
Yeah.
That's
Steve
pretty
Blum did at least 2 characters in this game.
I didn't hear Blum. Is he
Oh
in
my
there?
god. Okay, he does the exact Spike voice on one of the characters in the base. Remember the one that Miranda assassinates right before you get on the shuttle, like
Yeah.
right after
Yes.
he wakes up?
Okay. Yeah.
Boom, the one that gets killed there,
Okay.
Steve Blum. He also does Grunt.
Bullshit.
Nope, look it up.
Get the hell out.
He does Grunt, and it doesn't even sound like him. You
Wow.
can barely tell, but he does Grunt.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Good old Blum.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, I know that's fringing on audio.
Oh, sure,
No,
we'll get
I mean that's still kind of part of it then.
But no, just voice acting alone, just so many man hours went into that portion of the game.
And
Oh,
yet
yeah.
the best one
it still had that.
Still Shepard. No. Go ahead, Steve.
Oh God. Even with the setback where you're saying between the recession and bird flu or swine flu, whichever flu it was, because it took about
The
2
pig's flu.
Yeah, it was developed in about 2 years, and they had a team of over 150 people working on it. Which, I mean, then if you have that coupled with the voice actors and everything else, you had a lot of people like putting effort into this game. I think that may be it a little bit.
Story.
Mass Effect 2 is set in the distant future and is the story of Commander Shepard's death and rebirth after his ship the Normandy is attacked and destroyed very early on. 2 years later, Shep is resurrected by Cerberus, a powerful organization with questionable motives but vast resources. Led by the mysterious, elusive man, Shepard is given a new Normandy built from the ground up with a new AI consciousness and a mission to recruit the strongest fighters in the galaxy to stop the Reapers from destroying all life in the universe.
That bitch was dead. I said he's dead. DED.
You're doing Terminator for some reason.
Well, you said he was rebuilt.
Well, that would be more like RoboCop,
yeah,
wouldn't
it
it?
would. Yeah.
Oh, Detroit has a cancer. The cancer is crime. Dick Jones is wanted for murder.
Dick Jones.
It's Dick Jones.
Anyway,
The story.
if you break down this story, you get your intro piece.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good portion of the game is just recruiting,
Yep.
and then the suicide mission.
Yep.
That really is all it
Three-act
boils.
structure.
For the most part, yeah, that's it.
It's not about like the story is the recruitment here.
It
The
is.
building the team.
Mm-hmm. And then the stories develop within that.
I just want to say that I really like that whole body section where you're recruiting your team.
I thought you were talking about Miranda.
Well, there's that too.
That body
I got some
section.
screenshots to show you.
Ayo.
The body section, and then how satisfying it was to do their loyalty mission and get catharsis for almost all the characters. I really enjoyed that. Like more than the gameplay or whatever, was like the complete loyalty and gaining the respect of your team was just really enjoyable for me. I don't know if that's, and I kind of made me think about work. It made me think about work and my team and how I know what's going on with like their personal lives and how I try to keep it at an arm's length. And Shepard is like the way to gain loyalty is to get involved in their personal life.
Yeah.
I guess you guys, I mean, you can't, it's unavoidable. You can't miss that. That Shepard's strategy is to like, I'm going to go elbow deep in your personal shit and help you
Whoa.
root it out. And then that's the way to gain their loyalty.
Yeah.
Along with that, so when I got into this game, so you initially get Miranda and Jacob as part of your team. They're basically assigned by the elusive man.
Yeah.
Well, when I was all in, they give them very generic titles. Go seek out the doctor, or
Oh, yeah.
so you don't know who these people
Yeah.
are. But then my first recruitment mission was picking up Garrus.
Oh, okay.
And then when I first encountered him, I was like, hell yeah. Like, I thought it was going to be somebody else, but then, like, he earned this title now, and, like...
is he the assassin? No. That's...
No.
No, he was
I forget.
it's not important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that important. But I was like, okay, cool. So what other...
Archangel. Sorry.
Archangel, yes.
Archangel.
But then after doing that one, I was like, okay, cool. So these characters from Mass Effect 1, which title do they have? And then the more I got into it, you're not recruiting your initial team
Right.
from the first game.
Mhm.
And I had this moment of letdown, like a brief moment, but it was still a moment of, wow, I'm not going to have my whole team from Mass Effect 1. I feel like we're missing something here because
Oh.
you don't pick up Samara. Is it Samara from the first game? The blue.
No, because she was my romance option in the first game. She's not Tally. Tally is the
No, Tally you get in this game. She's the.
She's the one who becomes the information program.
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure her name was Samara. I thought.
I thought Samara is the one that you do recruit in this game. The mother that you
Yeah,
then
that's
track
that
down.
is that one. I'm trying to think. What the fuck was her name?
Anyway, but I was like, who's this new Krogan that we're getting? Why aren't we getting Rex?
Rex, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Rex is too busy to jump in.
Liara.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Liara is too busy to jump in. Who else did we miss out on from the first game? Ashley was my surviving character from the first game.
Ashley, I found her in the colony, and then she just doesn't go along with you because of Cerberus.
Yeah,
right?
she's just like a side piece in this game.
Huh.
Side piece.
Not
We'll
that.
get into romance options.
Ooh. Yeah. Would that be under story or gameplay?
It's a cutscene story.
So I was a little bummed out about that. Like, all these characters you came to love that were part of your, like, clique in the first game. And they had, like, such a traumatic experience together. You'd think they would have come back.
Yeah. But you don't get that.
I kind of like that it's a mix, though, because it sort of keeps you guessing. Like,
Kinda.
you don't miss out on everybody. Rex not being there was, for me, a disappointment, because I really enjoyed his storyline in the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I get that. I still like the fact where he showed up.
Yeah,
You
he's in
still got to
charge,
see
he's
him.
there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not so much come with me. He's like, oh, I got stuff to do. It's like, all right, I understand. Would have been cool to have him on the side because I think I had him for like most missions. Like,
Yeah.
that's my man.
Such a tank.
Yeah.
This game is the biggest roster of the three, though.
Oh, really?
As far as playable characters.
Yeah, you got a lot of people to choose from.
Yeah, there's quite a few, especially not even taking the DLC characters into
Oh,
account.
right.
Yeah.
Because
I
that's
thought
an
you were
additional
doing it.
2, I believe.
I
Right?
believe so, yeah.
Yeah, which I know nothing about, but
I feel that their additions, all the characters that they added, they have strong stories.
They
have
do,
Strong,
they do.
strong
Yeah.
presence and personality. So it is disappointing that you don't get your original team back because that is like naturally that's a goal when you start out. But I don't think we're really losing.
no,
that much.
and after playing the third game too, I'm fine with the mix match
Okay.
between games. It's like you have a core team in the first one, you have half of the core plus some new guys in the second one, and in the third one, without any spoilers, it's like a mixed bag again of the first two games.
Okay.
It's kind of like all over the place, but it's realistic. Everybody has their own lives going on. Everybody can't just drop what they could do just to join the team for game's sake. It feels more what's the organic. It feels realistic that
Yeah.
not everybody can commit all the time. It's
Yeah, no,
I
everybody's
asked you to
got
do
their-
it. Can you do it? Yeah, I can.
and their stories make sense too. Rex's whole race is struggling, and because of his actions in the first one, they look to him as like a leader. He needed to put his personal thing aside to help out his race.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Liara as well. She was put in a position of power for her race on that planet. I think they claimed it to be the most advanced city.
Omega,
no. Omega's the one that's a little grimy.
Yeah, it is
has
grimy.
has the nightclub.
the
on it.
nightclub. Oh, for some reason I thought that. Oh, yeah, no, I'm thinking of a different one.
Yeah.
I forget.
It's all right.
the-
But yeah.
that world. But she was also in a position of just information exchange. Oh, and Ashley.
Mhm.
But it makes sense 'cause she grew in the ranks with the
The Alliance.
Alliance, and you almost, well, you didn't break ties with the Alliance 100%, but you're working for Cerberus, which they
Right.
don't see eye to eye
Yeah.
on things.
Right.
So
If you don't mind, that's a really good transition to what I want to talk about.
Sure,
or
sure.
partially, is that I really liked the idea that you've taken Shepard, like this Alliance hero, and now he's not corrupted, but he was recreated by this organization who's really sketchy, and he has to struggle with the consequence of that almost at none of his will was involved in that at all. Like he owes Cerberus a debt, and it's up to the player to determine how far you want to go with your loyalty to Cerberus. Where I was kind of like, I kept him at arm's length, like, thanks for making me, but I'm not just going to blindly agree with all of the elusive man's decisions.
Yeah.
Which I guess you guys are on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that ties in more to the ending and the last big choice that you make. But I found it to be really interesting from a gameplay and from a character study way to see, like, okay, now things were so gray. There's no cut and dry really when it comes to me when it comes to those little decisions in dialogue. And I've heard that this game is criticized for its Renegade Paragon system, where everything does seem so black and white. Like you're either Jesus Christ walking on water, savior of the wasteland, or you're a baby strangling maniac who just like punches people in the face, punches women, does whatever, does all that crazy stuff.
When did you get to strangle babies?
You don't. I'm just saying. I'm paraphrasing Spoonie, I think, because he talks about RPGs, modern RPGs in his Ultima series, and he uses that clip of him punching the news reporter.
Yeah.
Because she's a slanderous bitch, but whatever. The fact that you're this hero, but you have this sketchy Cerberus organization tied to you, and you can't shake it off completely, I found it to be really fascinating.
Mm.
And one of the things that I really enjoyed about the game was Shepard having to struggle with that. And it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference in terms of gameplay, but the fact that everywhere he goes, there's like, oh, you're with Cerberus now, or you go to rescue Jack, and she sees the symbol on the ship, and she's just like, you're with like, fuck you, like the whole it. Mm-hmm. And then you have to convince them, like, look, I'm not Cerberus's dog, like I'm here for the common good of our race, like or for all life, basically. Let's try to get through this.
It definitely taints his image because he's seen as like the poster boy.
Yeah.
And just having Cerberus back him now, it's
like what?
It's funny you say poster boy. All I can think of is I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store in the Citadel.
Now, when you guys were playing through, did you find yourself leaning more Paragon or more Renegade?
Paragon.
Yeah.
That's the way I played in the first one, too, and
Yeah.
I wanted to stay consistent with the character.
I forget how I played in the first. No, I do forget how I played in the first, but in this one, I kind of went back and forth because you were able to have options, and the way they ranked up, it's not like it necessarily took away from one and then, kind of where it was like a pendulum that moved back and forth, but they both kind of grew on their own, though I was more Renegade than Paragon by the end.
Okay.
Interesting.
See, the problem is, if you don't commit to one, a lot of times later in the game, it starts locking out choices. Because you have to have your bar grow
to a certain point.
Yeah.
And I did find at like almost end game was when it was like kind of locked out, but still at least leading up to that point in the game, I was still able to have where there was like the quick actions to use either one or the other, or when it came to some of the dialogue choices where you could still have, there was some where Paragon was opened up and then some where Renegade was opened up, so it was kind of balanced.
Gotcha. I don't think that the in cutscene options go away based on your Renegade or Paragon status. I think it's just for dialogue.
Oh, because I thought I remember reading somewhere that like for some of those won't be. Sometimes there won't be an option for it if you're not up to like a certain point.
For dialogue or in a cutscene?
Both.
Okay. All right. I noticed that it wasn't always clear what was the best option, and that's probably by design, but a little bit of background. I played like maybe 4 hours of this game, and then I put it on the shelf for a while, and I came back to it for the episode, and I was in the middle of the Garrus mission where you're going to find Archangel, and I was confused on the context because I thought I was going to kill Archangel. So in the beginning of there, you can like disable the mechs that are going to eventually attack you, and you can the mechanic working on the gunship that flies in. You guys didn't remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that.
So there was this Renegade option to stick this guy with like an electric tool in his back and kill him. And the first time I played, I didn't select it because it was a Renegade option. And then when we got in there and it was Garrus, I was like, oh, now we're going to turn the tables on these guys that I was just talking to, and like I said, I forgot the context of the mission, so I thought that doing the renegade option would be the bad thing, but in this context, the renegade option was a good thing because the gunship is weaker if you kill that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to replay the mission to sort of understand it. It sort of set the tone for the rest of my playthrough. That it's like, sure, there are renegade options that are actually good in the long term, and there are ones that are not.
I wouldn't.
Not good.
No, I wouldn't look at it as a good and evil attribute.
Okay.
I would look at it as him getting things done either lawfully or chaotically.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
just had
Okay,
that in my
okay.
mind.
I think that's the better way to portray those decisions. Like, do I take
agree.
the high road and do it the proper way, or do I do it by like any means possible to get the job done?
Like, I can use my words or I can use my fist.
The interrogation comes to mind.
Yeah.
The chaotic is a great way to put it, because I played Knights of the Old Republic first, and then I've played these. So because they're both BioWare and they're both sci-fi, I kind of see this as Star Wars without Jedi. And the morality system is basically the light side, dark side from Knights of the Old Republic. So I kind of see blue and red. I just see it that way. I just see it as good and evil.
There's a reason why you want to compare it to like the Star Wars universe, because they had the licensing to do games within the I forget what game they did prior to this, but
Knights of the Old Republic.
Well, was it?
Yeah.
Was it those? So
It was BioWare.
they wanted to do like a fresh, like they liked the whole sci-fi genre, but they didn't want to just copy paste
Right.
Star Wars universe. They wanted to make a fresh idea. So
This is like a great blending of Star Trek and Star Wars. I just want to throw that out there as an aside, because I'm a fan of both. That this is like a middle ground where you have like the action aspect of a Star Wars game, but then you have the exploration and the crew of like a Star Trek.
That's a really good.
You didn't see that?
No, I never really put really put that together.
Because he's more, I want to say Shepard's more Captain Kirk than Jean-Luc Picard.
Oh yeah,
Probably because of the age and the
banging everybody.
there's that. And there's that aspect.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I see this as BioWare's take on a middle ground.
yeah. No, that's a good way to put it. So speaking of that, just between us girls,
Who'd you bang?
who'd you bet?
Who's gonna kiss and tell?
I'll kiss and tell. No, it's not that ladylike, but
I'm gonna guess you're either a Jack or a Tally robot love or artificial love or whatever.
Tally's not a robot.
Well, okay, she can't exist in a normal.
Yeah.
She has a
She's-
controlled atmosphere.
Yeah,
She's
that
bio.
that race
You're
is
right.
very similar to humans.
Yeah.
When you see the mask off,
You see the mask on?
there is a cut scene you can get where Tally takes off her mask.
Is that in 3?
I think so.
Okay.
No. Really? You see me going tally route? I thought about it. But no. Jack and Miranda.
Wait,
How did you do both? I was trying.
Oh, really? Well, Jack was first. She was earlier on when like she's down in like hanging out on like the third or fourth level of the ship.
That's her spot.
She's mentally damaged.
I just
She's,
kept
like,
going.
traumatized.
I went down and like talked to her, and then it'd be like, "Hey, I need to go do this mission." So I did the loyalty mission, try to keep buttering her up, and then in between, I would still go up and talk to Miranda like exclusively because I knew that
You dog.
I knew that
You dog.
the other option was your assistant, and I'm like, no, we're good on that. So I just kept going down and talking to Jack, and eventually it started having like some of the dialogue about hooking up, and I just like, if you're going to want to do it, just be forward and just tell me. And then there was one that's just like, it's something that just be forward. And
I'm definitely interested.
it's something along those lines of one of his fantastic romantic one-liners. And then they just aggressively went, it was aggressive. It was. She was like throwing him around and shit. I'm like, all right, what's up? This is pretty
my
good.
God.
And then afterwards, like after it was done, she was like, why are you talking to me? It was just like, get out.
She's
It
one
was
of
like,
those dudes.
yeah, it's like, just get out of here. I'm like, okay, I'll get out and start kind of working on the other one. And then eventually by the end of the game, before suicide mission, it was Miranda time.
See,
And-
I thought if you did one, it locks out the other.
See, there's actually, you can have multiples but only one actual like romantic interest, and Miranda falls under that romantic interest, and Jack is, you two can
One-time thing.
you can fool around on the side, and there's a couple of the one time. I forget, but I was looking at the list after I started finding it of like, who else would you be able to? Wasn't able to successfully pull anything else off.
Well, I'm pretty sure Tally, but I don't know about Samara. Right?
Tally is one, and then Samara cannot. I think because of her laws, or
I think Samara's daughter can be.
The daughter can be,
but I think
yes.
she kills you afterwards.
Maybe.
Really? It is just like critical mission failure.
Something, I don't know.
Hilarious.
Like that.
Locks your game save.
Yeah, I don't know. But
sends an email to BioWare.
So yeah, I was able to Jack and then Miranda.
Harry?
Very well. That was all Miranda.
Oh, Miranda. Yeah, same here.
I flirted with Jack, but I was like, the British accent, or Australian rather. Yeah, all.
I come down, cockabye, get a rope down into me unders.
Miranda's a little modified, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
she's modified for perfection or something.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Robo China.
I actually remember her from the promotional material from when the game first came out.
It's like a transformer down there.
I didn't consider the other ladies for a second.
No.
Nope. But in the previous game, like I said, I had no, not
Liana.
Liara. Yeah. She was my romantic interest in the first game. So there's a picture of her on Shepard's desk.
Oh.
See, I had that with Ashley.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You have a type, I think, because Ashley and Miranda are kind of female
aggressive
brunettes.
Women.
Yeah.
Female aggressive brunettes.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Up top.
Okay, so let's get into the suicide mission, I guess, unless you guys wanted to talk about anything else story-wise specifically. The only thing I can think of is that I felt the Citadel was a little bit closed off in this game versus the first one.
I guess maybe some part of story would be like additional character, like the DLC characters, because they had different, because that kind of impacted story a little bit.
All right, hit us with the DLC characters.
So I only got one of the DLC characters, Kasumi Goto. She's like this, like top tier 1% like thief. Like she is like the best of the best when it comes to being a thief.
What's her species?
She's human. I think human, or at least like humanoid type, where she's kind of like a human type.
Okay.
And then her story was, it was her and her partner, they worked as a team, and then something happened with him, and something went wrong, and then he ended up being
romantic interest.
No, she's very dedicated to the love that that the love just passed. Yeah, like that's part of the whole story, is you're going on a mission to try and retrieve these files, which were some of the last things that he was working on, and he left messages for. And then she has like the option at the end of that mission to either delete the memories to try to move on, or hold on to them and still risk being kind of like stuck and not able to move forward from it. She ended up being one of my favorite characters. I mean, I got her pretty late on compared to everybody else, but I really did. I liked her character. I liked her story and her arc and the way it kind of fit into the other ones. But I never found out who the second one was.
Of the characters in the game, like, I like Miranda's backstory. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
The assassin, I always forget his name too. The fish guy.
Thane.
Thane,
thank
that's it.
you.
Thane!
I like his backstory, and he's on a
You like that?
I'm gonna kill forever.
but he's on a clock to die because of the disease that he has.
Yeah.
I liked his mission where you have to track that guy through the city and then
You're trying to save his son.
stop his son from being an assassin.
Yeah.
The backstories are just really, really good. Jacobs, I didn't care for so much. I
didn't do his.
Of all the characters, I thought he was the most bland.
I didn't care for Jacob at all, really.
Yeah.
Well, with his dad and his like harem and people who were mentally
Yeah, on that island
Yeah.
well, it seemed like an island, but it's
Oh,
a whole planet.
yeah,
really.
that sounds like a fun place to go to.
You didn't go there?
No, I didn't. Jacob was one person that I didn't do the loyalty mission for.
Okay. I did everyone's loyalty mission.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to think who else there was. Grunt's, his loyalty mission was, I guess, becoming a Krogan.
Yeah, that was
In a
one I
way.
really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, him going through his puberty thing, and you have
Yeah,
to,
it basically
yeah.
was. Is helping him through puberty.
You like how puberty, all you have to do is like defend against waves of enemies.
Yeah.
It's kind of gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, you fight the
Kind of gamey.
Oh, what the hell is the giant worm thing?
Yeah, and no one's taken one down for generations or something like that.
There's
Yeah,
one
the
in
big
every
monster.
game that's like a big point.
I don't think I did his either.
Um,
Grunt was my last one. I just because I went down into the bottom of the ship
Mhm.
and then took him out of his case, and then he was the last one, and then I was pretty much ready for the suicide mission. I'm like, oh,
okay.
looks like we're doing this.
What was Tally's loyalty mission?
That's where you have to defend her in court, and you have to go track down her father's ship. Because there was active Geth on the ship, which is like a huge no-no for her race because they created the Geth and they're their sworn enemy
That's
and
right.
all that.
This is the game that has the Geth character,
Yes.
which
Yes.
I thought was kind of cool. I like it
Legion.
because that was like a whole. See, this is when the lore starts getting really rich in these games, and
Mhm.
this is what really fleshes it out to make it feel like a really, really
A real
awesome
universe?
lore. Yeah. But like that whole dynamic between the Geth and Tally's race, I forget what they're called, but like that was just like a whole side story that's not necessary
Yeah.
to the game, but just builds these characters in such a way, and just to show that like
Quarian.
Quarian.
That's
thank you.
it.
It's just so interesting watching those dynamics. These two like one created the other. The one fought back because they kind of wanted their like independence in a way. Went too far. Now there's this war where like they're
Yeah.
fighting over the same planet,
Yeah.
more or less. I mean, that goes further in the third game, but just seeing how the Geth are evolving, now they have like the free thought almost. They're like
Kind of.
advanced.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this one, I mean,
Legion. Yeah, he's kind of he represents the whole race, but he does his own thing. It's kind of like a rogue Borg is the way I look at it. 'Cause
Yeah.
the Legion
Kinda,
are
yeah.
kind of like the Borg.
Yeah.
I like him as a character.
Did you take him with you for Tally's loyalty mission?
No, I didn't think to do that.
I
but
had her loyalty done before I got Legion.
Oh no, I had Legion, and then it ended up being her, and then I got her. It's like,
That's awkward.
That was a little awkward. It's like walking. It's like he needs to go. And I'm like, he's with me. And then they say, if he doesn't go, she won't be able to do it. Da da da. Like basically shut it all down. I'm like, hey Legion, can you go back to the ship? So I
Oh,
can
you
go
have to
take
send
the-
him back.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
interesting.
Oh, you can send him back, or I think it goes down. I did like another like
Shepard,
negative
I
type
never
of-
sent live Geth to my father. Here's a live Geth in front of us.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I brought Legion with me for the mission because Legion was the fucking man.
he's
I-
actually a good character to have in the party.
Yeah, he ended up just being like in my party for the most part. For the most part, I think it was like Garrison Legion. But I tried taking him to Tally's loyalty mission. That did not go over well with the Quarians.
Okay, I don't want this segment to be completely bloat the whole episode, but I just want to say quick that I got Legion like right before the suicide mission. In fact, I acquired Legion and went to the Galaxy board and immediately went straight into Joker, like us being attacked, us in the shuttle and Joker walking around, and I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. So I reloaded my save and went down and talked to Legion and then did his loyalty mission. I had everyone's loyalty mission done before I got Legion because I didn't really know he was going to be there.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised. I thought I had everything. And I mean, I saw that there was like one like tablet or whatever that I didn't collect, but I was like, oh, we'll see how this goes. And then Legion like showed up.
There is a certain mission near the end of the game that starts like the countdown of you can't turn back.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with how you do your missions. Like it's important to do those loyalty missions sooner rather than later.
Oh,
because
yeah.
once you do a certain mission,
That's it. You're locked. Yeah.
Yeah.
you're basically locked in.
out.
And the further you push that off, the more dangerous that suicide mission is. It affects who will
Oh, yeah.
survive if you keep
Oh,
pushing
right,
it
that it
off as
does.
well.
I did look to see how to tackle the suicide mission. I wanted to make sure that most of the people, I wanted to make sure everyone survived. So I looked at hints for that, and I saw that it said once your crew is captured, if you don't immediately go, then they won't all be saved.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to to have my whole crew captured. I thought I had fucked up actually because Yeoman Chambers gets like abducted through the elevator or whatever, and I was like, oh shit, I must be doing something wrong. And then when I got to the suicide mission, found that you can save her from one of the pods and the doctor.
Yeah. Which I did end up doing that.
Okay, let's just jump into it. Suicide mission. Harry, hit me with your results. The end of the game. You've done the suicide mission. Who lived? Who died? Who?
Everybody lived.
Everybody lived. Okay.
That was an important aspect to make sure that happened, because I didn't want to go into the third game missing dialogue.
Of course.
Of certain characters.
So you did everyone's loyalty mission. You made all the right choices for the tech group, I think, and then the
actually the
defense group or something like that.
Yeah, there were like the 3 or 4 different groups.
Yeah, I forget how I set everybody up. I think I brought the weaker ones with me. The one, like, I knew Grunt and Garrus to be fine on their own. They're tougher characters.
Yeah.
Morden, I wasn't so sure on.
Unsure.
Yeah, it was
Combat, questionable.
I forget where I put everybody.
Pure scientist, yes. Steve, your thoughts. Suicide mission. Result.
Not everybody lived. The first one, which hurt so fucking bad, I was counting on her. Jack, first one dead. Like in the first cutscene of the entire thing, Jack is fucking dead, and I was just planning on using her for
Biotics.
the biotics for like the entire end mission, because I checked the same thing. It's like, all right, what can help? I'm like, well, I already kind of fucked this up, so fingers crossed. And I'm like, oh, Jack's like my strongest bionic. I'll just use her for it. That's no problem. First cutscene, bloop, dead. I'm like, fuck, this is not going to be helpful. Katsumi, the DLC girl that I thought was just awesomely spectacular, dead. Can't remember. I'm trying to think.
Was it Jacob? Was it Thane?
Probably Jacob, because
think
you
it
didn't
was-
have his loyalty.
I
right?
think it was Jacob. I didn't have Thane's either, but I think Thane lived.
Oh.
But yeah, I think the other one was Jacob, which I wasn't too hurt about. Morden lived. Miranda lived.
I think Morden is statistically the easiest character to die
Oh, interesting.
on the suicide mission.
Then if that's the case, thank God. Then he made it through. Like I think I made all the right decisions when it came to like for the groups and whatnot. But those were the 3. I think it was those 3 that ended up going down. But fuck, man, when Jack died, I was just like, sitting on my couch watching that. It's just, oh shit. And that's pretty much the way it
You
went.
felt it in your loins.
Oh yeah, I did. I'm
That's
like,
such a bummer.
oh yeah, it is.
Did I cut you off? You wanted to finish?
No,
something?
I'm just thinking, and I don't mean to dive into this too much, but there's almost like another loyalty mission in the third game for each character.
That makes sense.
And when characters are dead, it's
You could
cutting out. You'll
you
get
could
through the
reload.
third game a lot quicker, probably, by not having some of these characters.
So what happens if they all die?
I don't know.
And then you go into the third one.
Mass Effect 3.
Renegade. It's just Shepard.
Yeah.
All the characters are dead. Like you're playing Final Fantasy and everyone's faints and you just don't revive them. Okay. I did everyone's loyalty mission. I looked at pick this person for this segment, do whatever, things
Yeah.
that made sense, right? Like you use a strong biotic. I used a Samara to defend us from the little bugs or whatever. Had no death cutscenes. Thought I finished the game fine. Everything's good. Watch the cutscene with Elusive Man. Oh, that reminds me. Did you guys destroy it or did you save the technology?
Oh,
The
I
end.
destroyed that
I
shit.
destroyed it.
Me too. Okay, so we all made the right choice. Pissed off the Elusive Man, something awful.
Yeah, fuck him.
Then we transition to a scene of Shepard on the Normandy, and he's got his hand on a casket. And I'm just like, oh, that must have been like a random crew member or somebody that I didn't get or whatever. And he looks over and you see like most of your party just like checking their guns or doing whatever, and they like nod and then they walk off. I reload my save after the credits, and here Jack's just red. She's in red. She's dead. And I was like, wait a minute, what? There was no cutscene of her death.
Yeah.
I did her loyalty mission. Why did Jack die on my run? I have no idea. The only thing I can think of is when I did Jack's loyalty mission, because I wanted to boink Miranda, I sided with her in the argument. And after that point, if I went to talk to Jack, she's like, "I'll do your mission," but after that, she's like, I'm done with you." So it's almost like I lost her loyalty, even though I did her loyalty mission, and because I didn't have her loyalty, she died off screen.
Where did you put her when you were running the mission?
I don't remember now. I don't think I put her anywhere specific because I didn't use her for the biotic, and I didn't use her to do the tech hack, and I didn't
that's
use
probably
her,
the issue
well,
too.
I think she stayed with the group to defend it as we went on.
You need tough characters there to defend.
Well,
I'm just saying.
So I chose Garrus to be in my party, not to defend. I should have chose Jack and Miranda for the ending battle.
Or put Jack somewhere else. So
there was no other option.
The guys to guard the ship, basically you want to choose like Garrus or Grunt, like the dudes with high health. She's a lower health character.
Okay, that's what it was.
And there probably wasn't a cutscene because that happened while you're away from the ship.
Right,
So
okay.
That's most likely what happened to her. She died because
she's low health. I sent Thane to take the crew back, and I had Garrus
the best
in my
choice
party.
there is Morden to take the crew back.
Oh, interesting.
Because whoever you send that takes them out of the equation of dying. So you could send Jack.
I see.
To save the crew members.
Okay, I'll probably reload and do that because I wanted to keep Jack in the party.
Yeah,
like I said, I wanted everyone
Me
to
too.
survive. Guys, listeners, you can't see Steve's face, but he's just like staring at me with unblinking eyes and a stiff upper lip, which is normal. Stiff upper lip. Overall, I really enjoyed the segment with the suicide mission and making those choices on the fly and going for it. I thought
it was tense.
A strong ending.
Yeah,
it was tense. I do also feel like the game suffers from middle chapter syndrome though, because we know this isn't the end. Marsha. It just sort of ends, and you've got this looming threat of the Reapers in a cutscene waiting for you, or we're waiting for them to attack.
As far as the middle game syndrome goes, I think this one suffered probably the most from major choices because they had to take into account choices from the first game and take into account choices made in the second game into the third game. So I think they limited the impact in the second game specifically because it would have been the most work to affect the third or taken the first into account.
Yeah.
So I think this was the most linear of the three.
Oh, okay.
Because of how much work it would have created the studio. You know what I mean?
They'd almost have to make two different games as a part 3 based on that's the only way I can see is like if you made really big, if it had a big branching path, man, maybe they probably wish they'd have thought of that. Mass Effect 3 A scenario, B scenario based on your playthrough. But yeah, you're right. It has to be funneled like that because of the final game.
Yeah.
Just a limitation of games in general.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good place to stop for a story.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's reload our way into gameplay.
Gameplay.
I just going to come out and say that I found the shooting to be actually pretty boring.
It was okay.
It maybe just towards the end it started to get boring for me because I used the same weapon the same way almost the whole game. Which is probably on me. I guess I can't fault the game for that. Like I used the assault rifle. I mean, I did use the sniper rifle when I ran out of ammo, and I did use the heavy weapons for the big stuff. But and I used the pistol too. But the shotgun I didn't use almost at all. And I did some of the upgrades, but I didn't do a completionist run of all the upgrades for everything. So my Shepherd was a soldier.
So was mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe mine was as well.
Okay, I assume that you can do a biotic Shepherd.
Yeah,
Where you
can.
control.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird then that we all did the same.
Well, that was the default one I picked in the first game.
Same
I
here.
wanted to stay consistent throughout the games. I didn't want to change my class every game.
And I was going more that played towards my play style, and when it comes between, it's like, shooting, or I know it's like tech, but like magic or whatnot. I like to shoot more, so I'm gonna lean that way.
I liked his abilities as a soldier too. Just like mainly
Shield and adrenaline is what I did almost all the time.
Yeah.
Like I had that enhanced shield in addition to your normal shield.
I liked enhancing the ammo too to hit certain targets.
Yeah, like the incendiary.
I used fire
the
ammo
stuffing.
mostly.
Yeah, I used a lot of fire ammo.
That and what was Well, if you're fighting the Geth,
You use the electric
Yep.
kind, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't use any of the cryo stuff, come to think of
neither
it.
did I.
I
I didn't feel it was necessary.
I used it on some of the larger enemies that had like multiple health bars to go through, kind of like the Juggernaut looking dudes.
Oh, I know what you mean.
I would use it on them to kind of help slow them a little bit, so that way I can switch over to something else and then kind of give myself advantage. But
It's a good strategy.
it was pretty seldom when I went cryo, but it's all some gameplay.
That was my fault too, because maybe it's a game's fault. When we started the first Mass Effect, I didn't know you could choose a class.
Oh.
Because I remember I was kind of prodded playing the first game because I didn't choose a different class, and I didn't even recognize you could choose a different class.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why Shepard is rebuilt in this game, is because they want to sort of give you the option. If you wanted to do a biotic Shepard, now's the time to do it, and it would make sense story-wise, because it was kind of experimented on.
Yeah.
Or the whole thing was an experiment, the Lazarus Project.
Word.
It's almost a way that they could work that into the narrative.
No, you could play different classes in the first one, though.
Well, okay.
It was just, I think I just went with default setup just to get into the game, and it didn't give you options to, I don't know, whatever the case was.
Yeah.
I was fine with Soldier Shepard anyway, because I think he had higher health. He was more durable in general, and I genuinely like the abilities that were given.
That's fair. It seemed like my party members had all the cool shit.
Kind of.
You know what I mean?
I feel like that would slow down the combat if you're going through menus all the time and, I want to hit this ability.
That's
like
true.
There is one, like you can do them in real time by, hotkeying certain abilities, but...
Oh, you played it on console, right?
I did, yes.
That's right. I played the PC version. I could just hit 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever for my ability.
Yeah, we didn't get that.
We had a circle thing to choose from. Where
it's like a wheel.
Yeah, kind of a wheel where you could do certain abilities. And
okay, this is just a quick aside. Did you guys play any of the Star Wars games like Jedi Outcast or Jedi Knight, where you play as Kyle Katarn?
Nope.
No. Okay, that game's being like sort of redone, and it's coming out on the Switch. And I played that game on PC first, and for that you have a multitude of force abilities. You can push people, you can pull people, you can do electric fingers, do lightning, force lightning. You can do all that shit.
what do they call it? Diddle fingers?
Diddle fingers.
No, whoa. Diddling is something else. Whoa, not going there.
No. That was on Diddle fingers was on.
Sounds like something from Always Sunny.
No, it was on Destiny. It was the one.
No, it's actually in the game called Diddle Fingers.
Well, that's what everybody referred to it as. You fly around, shoot electric out of your hands, and everybody called it Diddle fingers.
Wow, that's straight Star Wars. Anyway,
Oh my god.
in that game, you can assign the force powers are assigned to buttons on the keyboard. So it was really easy to just transition from using W, A, S, and D to control, and you just hit 1 or 2 or 3 because the buttons are right there. And then I tried to play that game on a console, and I used on the GameCube. You use like a different section on the C stick to cycle through your force abilities, and it was bullshit. I was like, I can't do this. You guys have the same problem with Mass Effect. I could hit any ability I wanted at any time because I could assign it to 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Are you fancy bitch?
You have a circle wheel.
Well,
that you
we
use?
had a circle wheel. You couldn't equip everything, but I think you could hotkey L1, R1, and Y on the Xbox controller. Because I had Y as adrenaline, and I had L1 as one ammo type, and R1 as the other ammo type.
Okay, I guess that's all you really need. But that just sounds diminished experience for me. This game should be played on a PC.
Yeah, I didn't hockey anything.
PC Master Race.
I'm not master racing. You got more buttons. You got a whole keyboard.
You should play on PC because instead of 16 buttons, I have 48 different buttons that I can use.
Okay, Tommy
ASL,
Wiseau.
Semicolon.
Let me just say that if it's a game from that generation and there's a PC version, get the PC version.
Yeah,
My load times are like that. The graphics, everything is crisp. The textures might not be the best, but everything's crisp.
Can you build me a new gaming computer? Or no. Can you give me money
All right,
to build a new gaming computer?
Sure. I'm disappointed to hear that you had to cycle through hotkeys.
You know
and
what
all
I'm
that shit.
disappointed with, Ralph?
I also played the first Mass Effect on the console. If I wanted to transfer
That's a problem.
decision
right.
making,
Yeah,
You're
that's
right.
true.
You're right. Okay.
once you play on one, you're committed to it
And
all the way through.
I think I got you the trilogy on the 360, didn't I?
Sorry.
You did.
Okay.
So here you're shaming me for playing on the present.
I'm
that you got me.
Shame.
I'm shaming the
Shame.
console setup. I just feel like for certain games, when you have that many abilities, a keyboard is vastly superior.
I feel like we
I
had
get
this
that.
argument during the first Mass Effect episode.
We might have.
Probably.
Because I think there was like some kind of mini game that was a pain in the dick on the console. Didn't you have to play like a Simon Says kind of thing on the
Oh, that's
original?
right. It was different. The minigame is different on the PC. You're right.
Yeah, because you did some kind of maze thing or whatnot. Or
Yeah.
Anyway, that aside, another gameplay aspect so going off of the RPG elements reduction
Yeah.
that they had to this game, I thought it was for the better for this game. Do you remember unlocking doors in the first game, and you had this some kind of resource that you could melt down your items into, but then you can use that. Was it an Omni Gel? Was that what you were using?
Omni-gel.
There was some.
so, yeah.
There was some currency in the first game that you could use to unlock locks.
Yes.
In the first game.
Yeah.
I forget what it was.
Forget what it was, but I know what you're
They
talking
took
about.
out that whole aspect in this game, and that was my biggest gripe gameplay wise in the first one. So
Oh.
by them eliminating this was hip hip hooray for
It was-
me.
There's one more
A-okay.
point to Mass Effect 2 being superior,
Yes.
Yeah.
which almost no one questions, I don't think, at this point.
No.
I don't think anybody questions it. Unless you really like the vehicle sections for the first Mass Effect.
I kind of like the vehicle section.
You missed them?
I thought it was cool. Now, I think the gripe was the controls were awful in the first one. I didn't hate it. They weren't great controls, I will say that.
Yeah.
But I wish they would have just polished up the controls
Rather than drop it all
rather than
together.
eliminating it altogether, because it was like a
Mhm.
different mode almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
There's just something cool about visiting these planets in a rover that had a gun on it that you could fight bigger. I don't know if it would change the fighting aspect to a different scale that you lost essentially in
And
this
you
game.
get a better feel of the planet and the lay of the land and everything.
Yeah, and
Rather than just having these smallish corridors.
Yeah, and going out into harsh environments that you didn't experience in this game. Everything was I'm not going to say lush, but habitable. You couldn't go to any of those landscapes that, you know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Especially with space. Not everything is going to be great for you to just fucking walk around, stroll through the park.
Let me go ahead and here's good.
That brings me to there were a couple times where we enter the Reaper's ships and Shepard has this full blown helmet on. I mean, based on your choices, you can have him without the helmet, but when you're in like a space setting, Shepard has the full helmet. That makes sense. Miranda has like a little like mouth,
Yeah.
but everything else is exposed,
Yeah.
despite you being basically in a zero.
Oh, this game's trash.
Trash. Oh, are we running with that?
no.
Bunch of trash. No, Clark's not here to trash it up for us.
No, I know. I
meant
caught
the
that,
voice.
though.
I meant the voice.
I did
No,
catch that.
you just called it just trashy Clark. That's fucked up, Ralph.
Let's talk about scanning.
Scanners.
Oh, that
Scanning for
bullshit. You know how many hours I put into just scanning planets?
It was neat at first. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Get to like kind of explore the planet, look for the readings, and then when you needed you need it for everything, and then by a certain point, it's just, all right, let's do this. Let's shoot a probe. We got that. All right, I keep probing
Sending
this planet.
probe.
It's like, all right, we're done. Let's move on to the next one. It got old
Depleted.
after a bit.
Yeah, looking for the resources specifically, I didn't care for that.
And I think only like twice because I didn't want to spend too much time on it. Again, just because I thought we were recording earlier than we actually are. The like distress signals, I only came across like 2.
Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah, I figured there is probably a lot, but I just didn't.
But here's the thing. You don't have to scan each planet looking for the distress signals. Once you enter into a planet's atmosphere, before you even start scanning, they're like, anomaly detected.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So you don't have, like, you could just go from planet to planet looking for that sound clip cue
Got it.
to look for all the anomalies.
I got to admit, I didn't really mind the scanning all that much. I
thought it was when you're trying to unlock all the upgrades.
Well,
extremely time consuming.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't try to unlock all the upgrades. I got the 3 major ones for the Normandy, and I got a few more. It's like if I found one that I thought was cool for like a prototype, I would try to find that resource. But after a certain point, I just stopped scanning planets and went to the end game.
Yeah, because I went with, of course, well, you need the major Normandy upgrades to get to the end. Then there are ones for like the different shields, then some of the different weapons, and I didn't do all of them, but I wanted as many upgrades as possible. So yeah, like you, it just takes, for some of the resources, it takes fucking forever to find. And here I am spending like an hour of my time just trying to get enough resource, just scanning planets to be able to get, the resources I need to upgrade.
You just reminded me, because Jack died in my playthrough, I don't remember the last time I used her. I might not have put points into her for several levels. Is that a factor in the end game? Do you know?
I don't know, but she was completely like leveled up, and I had her loyalty and everything. She still died, so I don't know.
True. Okay. I didn't really particularly care for the cover system and Shepard's running, and I know that is like a staple of this franchise, is the way that he runs and interacts with the world. It's all the same button for me. I don't know about you guys, but it was like spacebar to run, spacebar to cling to a wall, spacebar to interact with your environment. It's all the same thing. It's streamlined, like we said, but I almost felt like it was too simplistic in that way. I think I would have preferred a different button for cover and a different button for run. And I also didn't like that the way the camera bobs when you run. I actually tried to turn that off and went into the menus and couldn't find any way to do it.
Keep it like a fixed view.
Yeah, because I don't get motion sickness or dizzy, but like I was just like my eyes were crossing a couple times. Like, man, I can
get
look
annoying
away
after a little bit. Yeah,
and there wasn't a lot of variety of enemies in the gameplay shooting, I want to say.
No,
there were a couple heavies here or there, but they all had the same gimmick. They had barriers, and you just whittled them down.
Yeah, and each different enemy type, like depending on the race, whatever they were, they had their grunts, and then they had their more heavy soldiers, elites. And then they had their their elites. So it was kind of like the same rodeo, different bull.
Anything else we're forgetting on gameplay?
I did like the some of the hacking. I did enjoy that.
Oh, hacking! Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was something that I always look forward to one way or another. Like in Fallout, it's lock picking or whatever it may be. So it was interesting in this one for the having to find the code to like match it up. I found that to be a little more difficult. But then the one where you had to connect the circuits, that by like halfway through the game already had a system, so it was pretty much never had to stop moving.
And you could buy upgrades for both of them to make them easier too.
Oh, could you?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, because I almost feel like, yeah, you get to a certain point, you're like, this, I'm not gonna get locked out. This is just me wasting my time. This is like, okay, C to C, battery to battery, Y to Y, vice to vice. Like they've never defeated me. Why can't I just have like an auto hack function or something like that? And the one, they're both memory games, and the one where you gotta like find they became annoying to me.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're used too often.
Yeah, okay.
If it only happened, I don't know, a third of the times that you actually experienced it, would have been fine.
Well, I know a lot of times when they popped up was usually when it was hiding for like a room that had extra items, or may have had schematics in there or something else,
or just for extra money, just like here's 3,000
yeah
units.
which I did as much as I could just to get the most amount of money by like the end of the game, so that way which then it just ended up being money was a non-issue by end game. It was banked.
But yeah, that's the issue too. You have like they force your hand on doing all of these.
Ow, my hand.
Because there is, I mean, you guys said you're fine on the currency. I couldn't buy everything by the end of the game though.
Really?
Look at this broke motherfucker.
I'm just saying, and I did everything.
You did all the resources.
There is a limited amount of currency in this game. You can't max out everything.
Interesting.
So you're forced to do this repetitive matching and little mini game over and over again to get all the resources possible throughout this game, and you still come up short.
Speaking of spending money, did you get any pets for your office?
Yeah, basically everything.
You can get pets?
Yeah. I
I
had
fish, gerbil.
I had a space gerbil.
Okay. Well, you buy them in the store.
and then
And models and everything, too.
Yeah. I had a little space gerbil. It was adorable.
You know what the game needed? It needed like a simplified like bounty hunting system or something that recurs and has variables that change a little bit, and then you get like maybe 5,000 credits or something
That would be neat.
out of it.
Yeah.
Sort of like Red Dead, come to think of it.
Mm-hmm.
The first Red Dead. There's just always a bounty to get.
Yeah.
There's
There
always
is
a way
one
to make
way
money.
to get extra money, but it could backfire and you could lose money. There's that fighting game or mini game in the Grunt's world, Rex's world.
Oh, you bet on the...
You bet on the creatures that enter the pit.
I tried
Oh.
it twice and I lost both times, and I chose a different animal.
I didn't even check that out.
But you can only get like 100 credits
Oh, really?
per match or
Oh,
something
that's
like
not
that.
even worth
It's
it.
nothing.
Either double up to 200 or lose the 100. Like, it's like nothing. You know how long
Yeah.
it would take to
Sure.
actually accumulate? And it's like a guessing game. Like, I don't think there's really any way to determine who the victor's going to
No
be.
strategy for it. Just like, all right, spinning the ball, black or red.
Okay, that's it for gameplay. If we forgot anything, apologies. We're going to move on.
I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. You're the renegade today. I'll be the paragon. You're
Let's
like,
orbital relay.
yes. Let's orbital relay our way into graphics.
Dope.
Graphics.
All right. I had the high texture pack to see Miranda's brassiere in HD.
Oh my God, Ralph! You fucking pervert. Was it as
Just
good
kidding,
as
just
everything
kidding.
that I hoped for?
I actually thought there was going to be a little more crass nudity.
You think a
I was
little
gonna say-
God of War-esque?
I
little
thought the
more,
first one was a little bit more aggressive.
Witcher.
Yeah.
More
Yeah?
Witcher.
You were thinking there might be some space titty?
Space titties.
Miranda really has 3 breasts. She's
Whoa,
got 3
whoa,
nipples.
shit! All of a sudden, you're playing Total Recall.
Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sure there's a mod for that kind of shit.
There
I
probably
just,
is.
Graphically,
For a PS3 game, it looked fine.
I don't think it was on PS3.
yeah,
It was?
Yeah.
that's that generation.
I thought it was 360 exclusive, though.
No, because I played it on PS3.
Oh, you did? Okay.
That kind of kills your theory there.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Wow.
I thought Xbox and BioWare had a
Fuck that up, didn't you?
contract on this one.
No.
Okay.
I think you're thinking Gears. Gears is an exclusive.
I don't know why I thought that. I don't know. Very well.
But yeah, I think for the generation it looks good, and I think for now it doesn't look that bad.
No,
I liked it.
definitely. You can definitely find some newly released games within the past couple years that look worse than this did, even on PS3.
Jeez. Okay. I want to say that some of the facial animations don't hold up, but that's
No.
just the nature of the beast. We're not playing a modern game, so I give it a pass on that. The aliens all looked great, I thought.
Oh yeah,
The design specifically.
Oh yeah,
how they were able to capture like different textures of the face, or like for some of them, like they had like ridges in the head, and they were a little defined.
yeah.
Looked good. Some good head ridge.
I don't want to call BioWare out, but all of the women were pretty much stacked.
Yeah,
Like,
for the
I
most part.
specifically remember Samara, like, showing up, and I was just like, oh, you dog. It's like, she's just got, like, all this cleavage. Like,
it's like
whoa.
everything out.
Whoa, guys.
Yeah, I mean
And then she's pretty cavalier about sex, too. Talking
Mhm.
about how her daughter, like, no, she prefers to seduce them and then
like, oh,
destroy their minds with her sex. And it's like, oh,
all right.
you know your daughter pretty well.
Yeah.
This is weird.
They took a page out of Book of Steve.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no.
I
know
know what you're talking about. There wasn't much variety when it came to like the female. They had their set model. Basically,
They have nice T and they have nice A, and they just have different outfits on and different species.
That's pretty much it.
I'll be honest. I don't have much to say graphically. I like the look of the game. I don't think it detracted my experience whatsoever.
Mhm.
Right.
The only small issue I have is I guess some of the level designs were kind of boring.
Yeah.
There's not much in the interaction between you and the environment. It's just corridors and doors and
The only one that really stands out for me is when you get to, it's not the late game collector ship, it's like the first one you go into, and there's a one where it opens up and you look up and you see the
Yeah.
pods. Like that really had some scale to it,
I was thinking of that.
and it looked really good on PC. Because everything after that didn't really like what the Human Reaper, the at the end there, that one it was kind of like, okay, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. But this giant human as a Reaper, okay,
According to that, so all the Reapers you find out in this game are supposed to mimic appearance of the race that
right.
they consumed essentially to be made.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't
Why?
hold true into the next game. They all look the same,
Oh yeah, they're all like almost like a
like a
War of the
a
Worlds kind of.
cephalopod
Yeah,
in a way in the next one.
because they dropped that idea.
That annoys me though. That kind of annoys me because this one almost looked like a Terminator
Mm-hmm.
in that regard.
I could see that.
like a giant Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, imagine if Mass Effect 3 starts with, instead of, because I remember the trailers for Mass Effect 3, like they're attacking London or something, and there's like a sniper in Big Ben, and instead of him like fighting Protheans or whatever, he's fighting like this giant humanoid mech that's like as big as Big Ben would have been. Yeah, maybe it's hokey. I don't know. They probably looked at it and said we can't do it that way and designed it a different way. I don't know. I can't speak for them.
Yeah.
The only other thing I wanted to say was the cutscenes for me were in a lower resolution than the actual gameplay. That's probably because they were all rendered to be 720, and I was playing in 1080p. So I just it had a noted drop in quality whenever I got into a like space cutscene.
Oh, that's a shame. Because I had different effect. I thought it looked better in the cutscenes than it did the actual gameplay.
Yeah, for how we played, yeah. But because you had like the resolution kicked up, do you have the mods on for the actual gameplay?
No,
portion?
I didn't have any mods. Sorry, this is just the Steam version.
Oh, okay.
So what, were your cutscenes kind of grainy?
Yes.
That's a shame. Because I thought
Yeah.
they looked really good when I got the cutscenes.
I want to say that's pretty standard for a lot of the PC games that I play. That
Really?
are like I'm playing it, and the gameplay actually usually looks better than the cutscene because of when it was made. That actually happens with another BioWare game, which is Knights of the Old Republic 2. You have to like play around with your settings, otherwise the cutscenes are like this big. They're like 4x3 and tiny, and the rest of the game looks amazing. Yeah, it's just a PC thing.
Yeah.
Yep, I don't have anything else to say other than some of the interiors, like the nightclubs and stuff, and the way that the I guess the signs work and that kind of stuff was kind of cool in game. And this game does not lead you by waypoints, like you have to walk to this. You have to find where you're gonna go.
Yeah.
And I do want to say that I felt that the missions and the details for those, it wasn't invasive to your experience. So like you'd have to check your journal to see, where am I going again? Who am I trying to talk to? Okay, and then you go there and you find them. Like it wasn't like being led around like in Horizon Zero Dawn, where here's your waypoint, here's your distance, go. That's it. And you basically just you put your blinders on and you walk to that scenario. You have to keep your wits about you and look at the signage and look at your map in this game, and I did like that.
A notable addition to this game, graphically, they introduced a new race into this game that they didn't have in the first one. The speaking on that planet with the grimy club scene and everything.
Omega, yeah.
Omega, thank you. When you go down to some of like the back alleys,
Oh, I know what you
you
mean.
see these they're like
scabs or screx or scrolls or whatever.
they're like bat people in a way, or like gremlins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're what are they called, like virelings or something like? Does that ring a bell?
I think I know it.
Vermlings.
You're getting closer. You're getting
Vermilins?
closer. I'm looking it up.
I swear it starts with a V. All right, so we found the name. It's called the Vorcha.
Vorcha.
So is it
from Ukraine? I am Borcha.
it's a new race that they added to this game that they didn't even touch on in the first one.
Mostly just killed those guys.
Yeah.
That's our purpose.
They're revisited in the third one.
Oh.
Not on a grand scale, but
But they're back.
you encounter everything in the third game.
So you liked their appearance then? You thought it was
I thought it was kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
I thought, like, just to add to this universe, another little faction. Like, I mean, honestly, the way that they portray, because you could travel all over this galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like this galaxy is untouched in many ways. Statistically speaking, I know we haven't encountered any kind of extraterrestrial race in our own galaxy.
He doesn't know?
No, he doesn't.
I'm just saying, statistically speaking, when you take the amount of stars that are in this galaxy,
It's
amount of
likely
planet,
there's life on
it's
another
very
planet.
likely.
Yes.
And to be traveling there should be multiple races.
Well,
We
that's
are-
why God's not here, Harry. He's out creating other races.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
No, we are alone in this universe. Get out of here. I don't understand why you think that this is an actual thing still. Come on.
Anyway, the
Come on.
Vorcha. The Vorcha looked okay.
It's ridiculous.
I think that's really all we could say about the graphics.
Yeah, I think it's time.
I think it's time.
Time for our suicide mission.
No, wait. Got to blink Miranda first. All right, let's probe our way into sound.
Whoa.
Music.
So this is going to be a three-pronged attack. Music, voice, and sound effects.
Okay.
When it comes to the music, the only thing that really stood out for me was the galaxy map when Shepard decides it's time to go to the
Yeah.
next section or whatever. Like
Time to go.
you could just yeah, right. I say we get out of here fast. Yeah, I'm turning it into John Wayne.
And it's like the doom 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 doom.
Yeah,
doom,
yeah.
doom, doom,
Yeah.
doom,
I could listen to
doom,
that
doom,
for
doom,
hours.
doom.
Like it's just it's peaceful. The rest of the music in the game really just kind of gets lost in the fray. And actually, at one point, I turned it down and I started to listen to music from the Metroid franchise. I don't know why. I just wanted to listen to some Super Metroid, OST.
There you go.
And I turned it down, but not for long. And then I turned it back up because the music did create tension where it was needed. So it served its purpose, but it's not a soundtrack I would buy and listen to on its own.
No. And I was it did win awards for like best
Score?
original soundtrack. I think in England.
Not a lot going on
BAFTA.
there.
I like the first game's soundtrack a lot.
Yeah.
And I was, again, I know before we recorded, I was playing you that piece from the credits of the first game, and I thought they were going to tie the ending to this game with another great closing song to the game.
You thought wrong, Harry.
I did.
You're wrong.
And I, second and the third game, spoiler alert, I think it lacks that music that really captivates me.
No, I'm not.
Clark's
going
gonna yell at you for talking about the third game so much.
Yeah.
I've only briefly touched on it. But anyway.
Briefly touched on Jack, Steve.
Oh, yes, I did. He was so angry.
Yeah.
It was hot.
What? Musically, I'm just going to say let down.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's the best way to sum it up.
Yeah, I wasn't bowled over.
But you're right. The map song when you're looking at the.
It's the only standout.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only thing that's still.
But I
left
think
in my
that was
brain.
also from the first game. So how do you give it credit to the second game if they're just porting it the same track from the first game?
Oh, he's right.
I don't remember from the first game, so it doesn't matter.
It's the same music in all three on the map.
Hey, stop talking about the third game, Harry.
Whose voice is that?
There's a whole nother game.
Oh, stop talking about the third game.
We're talking about number 2.
All right,
not
Steve.
3.
Steve. All right, I want to
I'm
know.
sorry. Why?
What
What is your problem, Ralph?
What did you think of the music?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Again, I wasn't bowled over.
You bowled over.
I know.
Are you a pin?
Yeah.
Are you down the alley?
Hey, look. You are taking analogy and visualizing. Well, I'm just
picturing
repeating it because Ralph just
Sports.
asked me a question that
Ralph just asked me.
I literally just had an answer to for it.
Literally.
Literally. It was okay. Nothing stood out. And again, the only thing that I still remember is just the map music. And that's usually just because I was sitting there staring at a planet, probing it over and over and over again. And the music is just there in the background. So that's about it.
We're not talking about your nocturnal activities. We're talking about the game, Steve.
Now I'm talking about Uranus.
I knew somebody was going to do it.
Probing those planets.
If your money was on Steve, you're right.
Yeah, then that's called the safe bet. I tells you.
All right. Voice work. Shepard is what he is. As a male.
95% pretty good in my aspect. 5%, I have only one emotion, and this is it.
But that could play into his character. Maybe
things-
he is that guy. You know what I mean?
Sure. The things that stand out are when he starts to, Like some of the dialogue choices with Miranda, where he's like, "Oh, I'm still interested." Like it always brings a smile to my face. Not just the context of the conversation, but the fact that the character is kind of breaking because he doesn't sound like a monotone robot now.
No.
Or like when you choose that renegade option, he's like, "Fuck it." It just doesn't. It just doesn't make. It just makes it funnier.
It does.
So there's enjoyment with either a very self-aware performance or a borderline dead fish performance. I don't know how to put it. It's very unique that this game and this franchise is so well regarded, and we've got just this bland voice work.
Yeah.
Allegedly, FemShep is really good, but I haven't played as FemShep.
Yeah.
And I should probably give that a shot.
Well, I
Probably
mean,
start from the beginning.
just because of all your toxic masculinity, that
Oh,
you
of
can't
course.
bring
I'm
yourself
very-
to play a strong female protagonist. But start of the game is the first game is male ship, so I feel like it
Yeah,
had to
yeah.
stay with it.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Oh, that would
Continuity
change
sake.
your gender in the crash.
Oh, they brought me back as a female.
Shepherd?
Oh my
Is
god,
that
look,
you?
I have boobs.
That would make all those reunions so awkward.
Shepherd. What?
Shepherd, is
that you?
That's the ideal way to play this game.
That
Change the
would be
gender and go full
great.
biotic.
Yeah.
Shepherd, I knew that was you by your hair color, not by your gender.
Shepherd, something looks different.
This is my attempt at Rex.
Shepherd, is that you?
Trying to romance your love from the first game.
Yeah.
Shepard, your parts are different.
Oh, can you still get?
Anyway, we're going on a tangent. Morton obviously is fun to listen to.
Oh, he is.
All of his dialogue is fun to listen to, and it's pretty unique. All the voice work I think is good. Again, Harry, to come full circle, I'm really impressed that Grunt is Steve Blum, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like I think there were a few times where I was like, "Who do I know who that?" No, I don't know. And I wrote it off as not being Blum.
It's weird that they wanted him for that character. You know what I mean? He has such a recognizable voice. Why use him for a voice that you can't recognize? Because I think they did slight distortion to get to that voice as well. And you could use anybody if you were going to distort the voice. Like, I don't know. It's just...
You're saying he should be Shepard?
If they're paying him... Are they paying him for his voice work, or are they paying him for his voice? That's what it boils down to.
He does a lot of stuff that you don't recognize it's him.
Okay.
Because there are times where you definitely can tell that it's him based on the voice that we're familiar with for Steve Blum. But I saw a couple videos where he says, like, people say I do the same voice in all my stuff, and then he goes on a tear of doing like some cartoons where you have no idea that that's him, and he's just doing like this goofy, energetic rabbit or some shit. And
Surprise,
it's Steve Blum.
motherfucker.
Exactly, or close. And I'm just surprised that he was Grunt, not that he could do that kind of work. And I don't. He's a big name to like us, but when it comes to what he might have been paid or is credited for in the game, I don't know how much of that goes. I feel like he's important to the voice acting world, but I don't know.
Fair.
But I like the performances generally.
Yes.
Around the game. Even side characters, I think they did great. I don't think... I mean, what do they have? 90 different voice actors?
Good direction.
Yeah.
Good voice direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't remember anybody being like a really flat performance.
Not at all.
Other than Shepard. Just one way to put all the attention on one character and
Yeah.
the rest are...
Yeah, exactly. No, I would agree. Pretty well done overall.
Cool.
Because hitting all it's not just different human voices too. When you think about it, the way the Solarians talk, the way the Quarians talk,
Yeah.
it's not just reading dialogue, but it's like reading it in a very specific, like as a different race as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, putting different inflections on different spots in the words, maybe having some sort of like lisp or like a quirk that comes along like when that character speaks that makes it different, and being able to maintain that throughout the game and have multiple people be able to pull that off if there's like, a specific like quirk to one of the races, like dialogue with how they talk or like the inflections they have.
Yeah, because even doing the voice acting as the Geth as
Legion,
like making. Now, obviously, they probably
he sounds
put it,
a little bit like a computer.
yeah, So, like, obviously they put it through a filter to give it that robotic sound, but you still have to read it in a certain way to give it that
word.
Yeah.
I probably said this in the Mass Effect 1 episode. Forgive me for not listening to it recently, but I feel like they learned their lesson from Knights of the Old Republic. In Knights of the Old Republic, there were many different races or species, and they would speak to you in their native tongue, and the dialogue would be English. So you'd go up to a big alien thing, or it would be like,
Don't you talk
And
about
you
my
would-
mother like that.
and those clips were limited. So you would talk to either one NPC through different questioning over and over and over again, and sometimes you'd hear the same clips. So they were recycling that dialogue with different English dialogue to lengthen, I guess, the novel aspect of the game where you're reading the story and
that
everything.
would be upsetting.
It has a very good persuade system and like light side, dark side, and everything. But in this one, they just voiced everything in English and put different accents on it, which is better, I guess.
Dig it.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Sound effects, anything?
Guns sounded like some of the explosions from some of the heavy weapons and whatnot. I did find satisfying. Like there was the one that shot like the giant. I forget the one that had to like really charge up. No, it was one of the later
It was
ones.
like a
that you
nuke. It was
got.
like a BFG.
Yeah, kind of something like that. Really satisfying sounds that came from the guns. Yeah.
There's the one specific sound effect. You remember when you hop into the orbital relay, and there's that animation. Well, it's like a cut scene where they like hop in the thing, and then it's like, and it's
yeah.
so much louder than anything else in the game.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
you have to adjust
Very
the volume
true.
on your because I would play this late at night sometimes.
Oh.
And it's normal. And you're like, Jesus Christ.
Shit.
Peaking.
Yeah.
It's like insane.
I didn't have that problem.
It was just obnoxious, to be honest with you. So
Interesting.
There's
Yeah.
that. And the amount of times, like if I'm like, oh crap, I got to go over to this planet and then travel to this planet, I might hear it like 3 times in like a 5 to 10 minute span where I'm just needed to bounce around. It's just like up and down with the volume on the television.
Have that remote in hand.
I didn't travel that much. I went to like one section, did everything, and moved on. But I'm just now realizing we forgot to mention somebody. We forgot to mention Martin Sheen as the elusive man.
Oh wow!
Oh,
I would
yeah.
forget that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
seriously.
I don't know.
For fuck's sake!
I'm glad I caught it before we finished.
So much with this game.
That's a great performance.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
He's so good as the elusive man.
Almost kind of looks like him too a little bit. I think that's kind of.
Well, yeah, I think they modeled.
By design.
Oh yeah. But no, that was pretty neat. Like, come on.
An interesting character, obviously.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
But a good performance, and his voice has so much, not panache. What am I thinking of? It just resonates. It's probably because of some of his roles, like him playing the president in West Wing and stuff like that. His voice to me really stands out as an authority. So well cast and well acted.
No,
And
yeah.
as
definitely.
a character, I don't want to say he's an evil character or
Sure.
faction. There's some
Yeah.
gray area there. It's just his motivations and destinations don't always align with yours. It doesn't necessarily make him good or evil
Yeah.
based on that. It's just a unique perspective character, I want to say.
Ultimately, his motive is to save humanity. His motives are good. It's his method that is where, depending on your playthrough as Shepard, how you side with him.
It's a little iffy.
Let's be honest, though. If this was reality, and let's say it was the United States government and was the Alliance, and I don't know, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos was the elusive man, okay? Let's just for a second say that. If we found alien technology that could somehow improve our existence, we wouldn't destroy it. Talking about that big decision at the end of the game.
Yeah.
We wouldn't destroy that. And just to tie into the elusive man, you're right. He's not good or evil. He's a gray area.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
I don't have anything else to say for sound. Let's move into our final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
I got to get started on number 3. Number 2 left an impact. It left a little bit of. It's maybe sad It's like the main thing I wanted was Jack to live by the end of it, and she was the first one that died.
Oh, just reload your save.
No. I'm not going to go through and do that.
Save scum.
Just because it didn't come out the way that I really wanted it to, I'm not just going to put it back in and hope for a new one. This isn't a baby.
Just like life.
Again, I don't know. I may have to go back to something, and I can't go back to like any certain spot and play through to get the rest of the loyalty and whatnot. It's done now. What's happened has happened.
I just keep thinking of starting a new game as female renegade biotic Shep, which is totally different from the way it was.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm a raging bitch captain. It's just like, let's go.
PMSing for the galaxy.
Yeah. Good game all around. I mean, I don't think that's really any news to anyone. Yeah, I enjoyed my experience through and through. I loved all the options and different ways that I can go about the openness of it and how it kind of let me be the captain of my own ship and the way that I wanted to run it. And Mass Effect 3, here we come, just with a couple less people from 2. Because they did. Oh, they did.
Ari.
So I'm just gonna come out and say it. As far as the whole package, this is the best one in the franchise. Now, my favorite scene in the third one. Favorite group of characters, the first one.
Oh.
But as an overall conglomerate, this is the best they have to offer. I'm just saying that.
That doesn't surprise me.
But like I said, there are certain aspects within the other games that I think are generally better. But no, this is a great game. This is a fantastic game. And it's all about the journey in this game, because it is just all about building the characters. Because it's really just one mission at the end, if you think about it, that's about fighting against the Reapers. I don't know. It's building this team which carries into the next game more or less. I don't have to elaborate any more than that.
You don't. You really don't.
It's summed up in that little bit. So yes, Ralph, why don't you?
I'm just going to reiterate mostly. I want to say that I really found at the heart of this game finding that team and getting closure for them and gaining their loyalty and respect was really enjoyable. More so than I got to go blow up this thing and go shoot it or whatever. Like I feel like if you come for the shooting gameplay, like you're just going to be let down for this franchise. That it's really about the story and the characters and their motives and gaining their respect and everything that you do with them. I really enjoyed that part of it. To summarize, I do feel that I would play this one again before playing the first one. I haven't played the third one. I'm looking forward to it. I am going to reload my save and save Jack because I want to go into the 3 with everybody. If I can save her. Like I said, I had her loyalty and she should have been able to live if I followed the right.
You just got to kind of play around with choices on that one. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your final thought.
I just want to say that I similar to with Mass Effect, when I played that one, I felt this great, not like a sense of loss or anything, not saying like I felt lost, but like I do feel a little bit like I missed out on the peak of this franchise when it was new and when it was hot, because now like we're in the ashes of the fallout of the fourth Mass Effect. What is it called?
Andromeda.
Thank you, Andromeda.
I want to check it out, though. I'm going to form my own opinion.
It's probably been patched by now. Whatever the issue was with the character models and the eyes or whatever, like there was something wrong with that. It was a technical thing, I thought. It's probably fixed by now. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed 2, really. I am going to play 3, but I know that a letdown is coming. That's what I know about 3.
Just going to go for it.
I just don't think it's going to be the same letdown you're expecting.
Okay. Fair enough. What did you want to say?
The last thing I want to say is what makes this a unique experience is because this game is all about building the team. What other game does that? Every other game follows a very linear storyline where things are happening, you're reacting to it, then there comes a solution. This follows like a different format. It's all about building, like I guess, building the team, and I just can't express how much that is a unique kind of experience. No other games do that. They all follow the same formula for making a story. That this, I don't know, kind of breaks that.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I remember saying to Clark months ago, he asked me where I was in the game. I said, "Oh, I'm still recruiting my team." And he was like, "Oh, that's the whole game." And I didn't really understand what he meant at first.
Yeah.
because you know how they're you do it at 2 different points in the story. You collect like the first half, and then there's a story mission, and then you collect the second half.
Yeah.
I didn't know, like I thought I had. Well, I didn't think I had everybody, but I thought, okay, I collected those 3, and now we move on to the next.
And that's what it feels
phase
like
of the
based
game.
on other games, like because other games have you recruit your guys and then you play the game. Then
Right.
like it just
Yeah. Well,
Or
you
even in movies.
you don't realize how big of a portion of this game it is until you're at the end.
It was to say, I think Harry asked me, it's like, where are you at? I'm like, oh, I'm doing some of the loyalty missions. He's like, oh, for the first or second team. I'm like, what? There's more? And then it only really was like the remaining 3 or 4 people. But then at the same time, I'm like, wait, is there like a whole nother fucking set of people that I'm missing right here?
It's okay. You just didn't
It
know
was
Harry plays for both teams.
Yeah. No, I know.
Let's score it.
The score.
Steve, you go first. Don't kick the table.
I will do whatever the fuck I want. Don't tell me how to live my life.
Don't kick the table.
Okay. There's no 2 ways to put it. Yeah, this gets an A. Loved it. I enjoyed my entire experience with it, and I would do it all again too. And I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids and that dog of yours.
Well, I think there is 2 ways to put it.
Whoa!
Because I don't use letter grades.
Whoa!
Good point.
So just to clarify, I gave the original Mass Effect an 8. I'm
That's
gonna
high for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one an 8.5.
That's higher than an 8.
Bros, you go 9.
This actually ties. Well, I put Bloodborne at a 9. I don't think this game is on the same par with Blood.
You're right. You can't eat any intestine in this one.
But an 8.5 is still really high up there.
Oh, sure, yeah.
On my scoring.
That's
And
big
this,
for Harry.
This does tie with Final Fantasy 15 and the original Resident Evil, in my opinion.
I don't think Final Fantasy 15 is as good as the original.
That's
It's
that's
Different
why
type of game, though.
True,
that's
true,
why
true,
that's
true,
not
true.
your opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Okay, I accept your 8.5.
Look at you
Sounds
go.
dirty.
It does.
Sounds dirty.
We're talking about his penis.
Let me think. Yeah, gush. I'm gonna gush on this game.
Oh,
Anybody who talks about Mass Effect 2, I'm gonna say you're right. It's good.
Yeah.
I wish I'd listened to that friend I have that told me in like 2010 to play it because it's good. I wish I'd listened. Gush.
If you got a problem with Mass Effect 2, then you got a problem with me, and I suggest you let that marinate.
You got a problem with science fiction and choices? Well, that's it. Mass Effect 2 is on the docket. Mark it complete. We're
Dope.
through.
Dope.
Mass Effect 3 coming TBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready to record whenever you guys are.
I'll be
it's fine. I
getting
need some
started
time.
on it.
If you want to do
Yeah.
it sooner rather than later, I don't need to wait another 2 years to record.
No, we don't either. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, maybe-
honestly, it's the way I would have liked to play this is bang bang bang, just one after the other.
I think that's
I think that's
for the
actually
future.
the best way to play this franchise instead of letting all this time sit between games.
I got you.
Imagine if you had to wait for them to make the game. Gee.
Jesus.
Cheese and rice.
Cheese and crackers.
But yeah,
All right.
All right, that's
Wrapped
it.
it up. Thanks for taking this adventure with us, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
We appreciate the listen. We
Yeah.
love you guys.
Love you so much. Oh, so much.
How do you want to end this?
stay sexy.
Stay thirsty. my friend.
sexy as Miranda.
Ooh, those lines though.
Those girls.
Curvy, Australian, brunette. Thanks.
Get a bit naughty.
We're a
Running
bunch-
up
we're a
the
bunch of
flagpole and
dogs.
see who looks, but no one ever does.
What?
Bah.
Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over.
Thanks for listening to Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Stay up to date on our Facebook at facebook.com/superfunpodcast.
Anyway,
Squeal like a pig,
are we ready for story?
I think we are. Okay.
Read me a story, Ralph.
Yeah, go ahead, Ralph. Ralph,
I'm trying to think of it.
Ralph. Maybe if we say his name a lot, help him think. Ralph. Ralph.
Let's.
Ralph.
Oh my God! What the hell? I am cutting this. Let's move into story. There are no cat people in this game.
There is no Khajiit.
Isn't there? I guess not. Missed opportunity.
I know, right?
Pussies in space.
Oh,
See,
space, pussy, space.
I'd expect that from Steve, but not from you, Harry.
Oh.
Yo, what the fuck?